All right, welcome back to Fleckus Talks, a podcast, episode 258. Today on the show, Canada is screwed and Robert DeNiro's son is trans in this week's Housekeeping. Then, a woman fled America to Ghana because she wanted to escape white colonialism, and it did not go as planned. Then in Cringe of the Week, we show you some businesses and institutions that were ruined by woke. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, death by twerking. Very sad stuff. You're not going to want to miss that. All this and more. It's Fleckus Talks, the podcast, episode 258, ranked the best news podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleckus Talks, the podcast featuring Richard Grabboy.
All right, one for one on the intro as always. Guys, let's talk Undertac, the world's best boxer briefs designed for special forces operators in Africa's harshest terrain. Undertac isn't just underwear, it's tactical gear built for tough missions, from worldwide rucking to crushing your day-to-day routines. These boxer briefs are made with premium modal fabric, which is 50% better at moisture wicking than cotton, keeping you cool, dry, and locked in. The hidden escape and evasion pocket discreetly stores critical items like a micro SD card with crypto data or emergency cash for when stakes are high. Pair them with the American-made merino socks or Urban Ops hoodie, built tough, keeping you comfy, mission ready, whether at the range, in the field, or relaxing on your couch. And for a limited time, Undertac is giving you a free pair with your next purchase. Go to undertac.com, that's undertac.com, and use code FLECKUS at checkout. So for every 3 pairs of underwear you buy, you're going to get one free. And as you know, your purchase supports veteran-run groups that combat human trafficking. So gear up with purchase, support American heroes, and secure your junk and complete the mission. When you need gear that doesn't quit, Undertac has your 6. Make sure you use code FLECKUS at checkout for the buy 3, get 1 free. And act on it now because it's not going to last long. Undertac.com is the website. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring.
Thank you, Undertac.
We appreciate it. We love Undertac, and the underwear and boxer briefs are literally the most comfortable ones I own. So not just saying that. Happy Friday, everybody. We made another week is over.
Thank you.
Feels good. Hope everyone's chilling. It's almost summer. You know, summer Fridays at work.
It's May. It's crazy how quick this thing goes.
Yes. Work on Friday with the show. It's about to get a lot better now that everyone's wearing casual stuff and leaving at noon and having beers at lunch.
If you're already getting off and then the last 2 hours of work, we're watching the podcast.
You don't work. You don't even work at all. Yeah. You get paid. It's a full payday for free, and you're just enjoying yourself.
Yep.
All right, we have a lot to get to. First thing's a little bit of it's like a small story, an update to a previous thing we mentioned. Remember how Google didn't put anything for Easter?
No big deal. Not a holiday for basically most of America. Just ignore that. Regular Google screen.
Regular Google screen, and they must have real standards for what they do change the Google screen for. Well, this week they have one up. It's this ukulele Google thing, and it's for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month 2025. Thanks, Google.
That's the real important shit, Google. A ukulele. Thanks.
Yeah.
Christ rising from the dead.
Conquering death.
For our salvation, for our eternal salvation of our souls. Crickets. Fucking some fat guy with a ukulele on a beach in the Pacific Islands.
The whole month.
Run it up. Run the whole machine.
Son of God.
Yeah.
So that's not that big.
Just a reiteration of F Google. You know?
Yeah, just to remind everyone. All right, we have a lot to get to. I want to start on maybe my favorite story from Housekeeping. Robert De Niro's son is a girl now.
Well, according to headlines and such, but we know nothing's changed. He's just dressing up and dyed his hair pink and is wearing some nails now. So
Robert De Niro's son is dressing as a girl now.
If we were an honest society, that's what we would say. But even the New York Post calls him, it's like referring to this guy as she. So De Niro's son trooned out, and I can't say I'm surprised. It tends to happen to the loudest anti-Trump and leftist vocal critics. I think he's now divorced from his wife, so it's a broken home, trooned out, kid.
And the dead eyes were a clue. That guy had the dead eyes. And then also with these celebrity kids, if they're not forced into it for Illuminati deals, a lot of times they like to do it because they had like a very privileged upbringing and they don't feel like they're interesting enough or had enough like to overcome. So they kind of like self-impose this, well, I'm trans autistic and it's not easy for me. So they kind of give themselves an excuse for having such a lavish upbringing.
Really makes you respect a trust fund kid, someone who's just comfortable in his own skin, rich as fuck.
Going to Georgetown, doing cocaine, working in finance,
partying,
internship.
He doesn't troon out. He goes into iBanking.
He embraces it.
And then this was a surprising part of this is speaking candidly with them in her first ever interview. The movie star's daughter. That's what I'm talking about. Where they immediately switch. It's like a coming out and they immediately switch. But they shared that Halle Bailey's The Little Mermaid in 2023 had a huge impact on her.
So it's more evidence that Disney is potentially programming and hacking children's brains?
Yeah.
Probably, right?
And that was the Little Mermaid who was half black with the eyes wide apart.
I remember.
So, yeah, massive impact on Robert De Niro's son. He was just waiting for something to latch onto, and he saw The Little Mermaid in theaters in 2023 and goes, yep, I want to be a fish lady. So,
and then also keep in mind, there were rumors and documented facts, actually, that Robert De Niro's dad was actually gay or struggled with his sexuality and had male partners.
Ooh.
So there's something to consider.
That's called gay.
Yeah, exactly. It's called gay. And there's something to consider there because there could potentially be a generational demon that just bounces across the bloodline here and there. Mm-hmm. And it's telling the son to play a girl.
Okay, I get that.
Generational demon.
Generational demon. I'll put the odds at that at about 5%, but I like the way you're thinking.
It's higher. I put the odds at like 80%.
Okay.
It's the same thing that made the dad gay. Maybe it skipped Bobby De Niro, and it bounces around the bloodline.
Okay.
All right, let's get to our next guy who's kind of gay.
Okay.
Tim Walz. He was talking about the recent election and what his role was being added to the ticket with Kamala Harris.
To improve people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
But you could give me.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work on anybody. And like the fake masculine liberal guys who are hipsters and wear beanies in Brooklyn and micro brew beer in their garage, they were voting for you already. And then normal masculine men like sniffed out the fact that you're a bitch boy without even really trying.
Yeah, it was easy. And yeah, hey, let's put tampons in every bathroom, huh? Catch the game last night? Like as if that would work. And this just goes to show you how much Democrats are choosing people not based on like policy or their record or anything. They're just choosing human props. And it's very funny to me that he goes to the Harvard Kennedy School of Politics and gives his speech when you lost. You didn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
All 7 swing states, you lost. So there's not like, well, we did well here and bad here. You got swept by a guy who they tried to put in prison.
Exactly. Blue-collar men overwhelmingly supported Trump, and then he's just doing the trope, or he's playing like the Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, buffoon dad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just a stupid white guy. You know how it is. We've had enough, and we've been in charge for long enough.
Yeah, but I am wearing a flannel, so you can trust me.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Democrats and Democrat rallies and stuff like that, as you guys know, the only people that really go to those are paid actors.
We've covered the buses. We've covered the cell phones appearing at all the same rallies.
People going to 10. Everyone who went to the Kamala rally went to at least 5 other rallies, and you're kind of looking at it like, wait, who are these people actually? Mm-hmm. We actually have more proof that there are crowds for pay, I think it's called, or crowds on demand. Can you read that?
Yeah, it's a company called Crowds on Demand. You can get protesters, demonstrators, cheering fans, whatever you need. $20,000 minimum fee. And here's some of the, straight off the website, it says, are you looking to create a buzz anywhere in the United States? At Crowds on Demand, we provide our clients with impactful advocacy campaigns and events. We are best known for organizing passionate demonstrations, rallies, flash mobs, corporate PR events, and lighthearted events such as paparazzi, brand ambassadors, and PR stunts. And basically, it's protesters, cheerleaders, whatever you want. It's bodies on demand. mindless, soulless bodies who will do whatever you say. Are you for water? Are you against water? I don't even know what you're arguing about.
Let us know which side you want to show up.
We'll show up. And here's the founder, Adam Swart, founder and CEO, and he founded this as a college student at UCLA in 2012 because he understood the power of a crowd to shape people's perceptions.
Isn't that kind of like ironic where it's like, yeah, when people get organized and they're passionate about something, you can really change perceptions. What if we just skip the part where it's all organic and something people believe in and just get the people there?
Yeah, we need bodies in the wreckage.
You just jump straight to, this is what passionate people who care about this would look like when it's actually not the case. I'm sure a lot of Democrat dollars went to that.
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say I'm sure a lot of taxpayer dollars went to that.
Ooh, that would be dark. And this guy, he's in college in 2012, and he sees what George Soros is up to, and he goes, "Ooh, I want to be on the end of that pay pig structure."
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something to look out for, like these fake rallies, fake protesters. You can't even really believe anything anymore.
Can't.
So
You really can't. All right, let's get to our next story. Shri Thanedar, my favorite name this week. Another Star Wars name, you know. He wants Trump to resign or be impeached. He's leading that charge. And it turns out Shri Thanedar isn't that good of a guy. Can you read that tweet?
yeah, Shri Thanedar, the Democrat rep who filed impeachment charges against Trump, reportedly left over 150 dogs and monkeys to starve to death at an abandoned New Jersey testing lab that he owned. And then, not to mention, look at the picture. This guy's 70 years old. What is that, a horrible toupee?
A horrible toupee.
Torturing animals. He comes to America and is like, no one wants to test on the dogs? I will do it. I'll test on the dogs.
They don't like dogs.
I know. They don't care for dogs.
And they go, we're not doing the testing anymore. What should we do with these dogs? Just leave them.
Dump it. We're in bankruptcy.
They'll die soon.
Yeah.
And then here we have some clips of people saving the dogs, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then we have the van here full. It's full of beagles.
Yeah.
Super sad. Beagles
Beagles
aren't dogs you want to hurt.
Beagles are the ones that are tested on most. Remember Fauci did a bunch of beagle testing?
Yeah, Fauci did a test to see how long flies would take to eat the face of a beagle.
Thank you, Fauci. That was very helpful.
Yeah, what was the answer to that?
Yeah.
Tell me so I don't have to do it myself.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Yeah, and so we covered this. We ended up covering this in Bonus Land, but he obviously gave a speech about impeaching Trump with a horrible Indian accent. This guy's some random congressman from Michigan who can't even speak English appropriately despite being here for a while. And he actually represents a district that's like 50% black. I don't know how some of these plants come about, you know? They probably had crowds on demand and enough money behind them to do exactly one specific thing that a particular Democrat business needed them to do.
And then the crowds on demand, that isn't for the votes. That's just so when he gets the votes, people go, oh, yeah, I saw some crowds showing up for that guy.
Yeah.
He won by 1%. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I just saw people in the road with signs.
Yeah, he had crowds. It can't be 100% illegitimate. He probably speaks English, too, like a normal guy. And he doesn't. Doesn't make sense to me.
And he doesn't. And he doesn't. All right, let's get to our next story. It's a little more serious. Robert Kennedy was talking about HHS and its role in child trafficking. It's pretty intense.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
Wow, 300,000 children lost.
Dark.
Very dark. And HHS is the ones doing it?
That's what happens when you keep a sloppy border and the human bodies are flowing, you know? You can't.
Yeah.
It's and we talked about that a lot. You can't put a price on a weird random flow of people who are trusting cartel members and people to smuggle them across the border, and then once they're over, nobody knows where they are. So it's very dark, but I'm shocked to hear him say that HHS was like the number one vector.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists are right again too. Like people have been saying that, you know, and that's a big announcement.
Yeah.
Like we talk about certain things. Shri Thanedar, Robert DeNiro's kid is trans. But then it's like, wait,
300,000.
300,000 kids are missing.
Talking about 300,000
in slavery and sex slavery.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge news. Huge news. All right, let's get to our next story in New York. Cars are being made with governors on them to limit their speed. It caps their speed to prevent dangerous driving. Let's watch that.
The first half of the century, you'll be 40 miles an hour. You will be literally unable to speed. You'll get to the point where it transitions into a freeway lane, and you'll feel the release, and you'll actually get to accelerate properly onto the highway.
So we're going on the highway now, going on 787 South, straight shot back to Brooklyn. Here we go. All right, going to accelerate. So my foot is all the way on the gas right now.
Oh, wow.
And transition to 65.
Look at that. Wow, I floored it, and the car was not accelerating. Now we're going up to 55, 656. All right, now we're hitting 65, and we're in yellow, so we're at the speed limit. I literally have floored it and cannot go faster.
So we're going to go into the right lane here.
Get out here.
Yep.
So there you go. And I guess this is needed because blacks and Puerto Ricans drive their old Mercedes that has 200,000 miles on it, 100 miles an hour through traffic recklessly all the time.
Yeah, they weave them in between lanes. And this is a proposed New York law would require speed limiters for repeatedly reckless drivers. So just the problem people. And this is, I guess, another example of the bottom 10% ruining it and then like letting this dystopian software get its foot in the door.
Exactly. And it's the foot in the door, and then soon it'll be for everybody because you need to keep people safe. And it's the same energy as like banning knives in the UK because of all the stabbing.
Yeah, we need to ban the ninja swords because like just 1% of black people are walking around London with ninja swords chopping each other. We can't worry about them. We have to ban the weapon.
And then putting speed caps on cars or governors is actually more dangerous because the further you are from the speed of traffic, actually the more danger you're in and the more likely you are to get into a crash if you're not traveling at the same speed as traffic.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sketchy too. It's a good time to own a 1990s or 2000s classic car that can't even be updated with that.
Yeah, and I don't know what their plan is with that, if they force it on you, if it's a system they put in the car, but it's just the bottom 5%, the shittiest human behavior that is out there exists, and then it's like, okay, let's come up with a brutal state government plot to handle this, and then you think it's not going to move to regular people eventually. It obviously will. So,
and it's just one of those things where, like, under the guise of for your safety, it's going to be taking your rights away, and you could have just arrested the people going 100 miles an hour in traffic.
Repeatedly reckless drivers shouldn't have licenses.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we're going to limit your speed, as if they still can't be texting on their phone and like turn at 40 miles an hour and then hit a pedestrian in the street.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. All right, let's get to our next story. Canada is fucked.
Yeah, Canada had their election. I think the results came out the day of our podcast. The leftist, the liberal, Mark Carney won. There was some hope for Pierre Poilievre or whatever his name is. I'm going to forget him and put him in the dustbin of history at this point because he kind of pussed out. He was right-wing, but he wasn't right-wing enough. I saw him wearing that Hindu outfit. He wore the Hindu outfit.
Pathetic.
And then he kind of counter-signaled Trump a pretty good amount. And honestly, Trump did not help. Trump, which, you know, it's not his responsibility to help, but all that 51st state talk, Canadians really didn't like it. And then Pierre was like, Mr. Trump, I'm going to do this. I saw he didn't let people wearing MAGA hats into his rally. There was some pussying around.
And it cost him. And the main driver for this election was they were electing someone who's going to oppose Trump. And this boomer lady kind of sums that up as well.
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump. Because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass. And he shouldn't even be president of the United States. But because he is, we need a strong person so that we could stand strong.
Yeah, you got to stand strong against Trump. And there was a tweet I thought summed it up.
The entire Western world appears to have the same generational problem. The boomer clings bitterly to a fairy tale of leftoid utopianism and eats corporate media slop like Pringles.
Yeah, and then look at this graph of the most important factors when deciding to vote. And then you can see the red is the 60 and over, the boomers, and they're just voting to deal with Donald Trump.
That's the most important thing they have. Cost of living, there's an absolute crisis. The economy is pretty stagnant. I'm surprised to not see immigration on this list. But yeah, reducing your cost of living, 60 and over, they don't give a shit. Their house is paid for, they're done, they're settled.
And making housing more affordable. Look how low they are at that.
They don't give a shit. They're like, oh, I'm looking to sell at the end of this run. But yeah, dealing with Donald Trump, it's crazy. And they're watching, the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corp, which I'm assuming is completely captured by leftism, as is most mainstream media across the Western Hemisphere.
And then my immigration's not even on that graph as like a factor for what you're voting for.
Yeah.
And then we have a graph here that shows what the immigration looks like from 1952 to 2023, straight line up lately.
And that's without 1.5 years of data, which it's going even higher. And I think that 45% of Canada is now either first-gen immigrant or...
45% of Canada's population is either immigrants, children of immigrants, or non-permanent citizens.
So it's like...
And they all voted for more immigration.
You know how they make a joke about, oh, every cell in your body after 7 years replaces itself or dies and then rejuvenates. So you're not even you from 7 years ago. It's like Canada's going to speedrun this in like 6 years.
And then the nationalists and the patriots, they can't even vote their way out of it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it reached the critical mass that we're scared of here in America that would have happened if Hillary Clinton won in 2016. But they can't even vote their way out of it. It's not even close. Jack Posobiec had a tweet that summed that up.
Yeah, he said Liberals won 80% of high immigrant districts in Canada. Canada's population is now 25% foreign-born and set to increase. This is what they want for America.
And then we have a graph here. Can you read that as well?
Yeah, about 33% of Canada's residential population is foreign-born now. That's up from 24% when Trudeau first took office. Now we get to see what next-gen liberal immigration policy looks like in real time. Best of luck, Canadians. This is what you voted for. And that's the sad part is I think the boomers all want to take care of Trump, and they care about their house still being a high thing. And they kind of wave them over with this, and then they replace your entire population in the span of a decade. So...
with Indian people.
I know, with like low-quality Indian people who come and shit at the creek bank, like the place where you go fishing, and you and your dad went fishing, there's now Indians shitting there. We've shown the videos. It's not like, I'm not making that up.
And we have a video here, a selfie video, that kind of sums up that Canada shit lib problem.
Canada, you did it. You chose hope over hate, unity over division.
Trump, take note. This is what democracy looks like.
Mark Carney is the leader of Canada and what the world needs right now.
Someone that's ready to stand strong against Trump and defend democracy.
Tonight, Canada sent a message. Tyranny doesn't win here. Fear doesn't win here. Division doesn't win here.
Canada just proved it to the world. We chose strength. We chose unity. We chose each other.
We're proud.
You chose all the migrants.
Yeah, you chose an insane... And they're talking about Canada on the world stage. It's like, nobody cares. How many Indians are going to be here tomorrow?
It's so bad. And then there's another article I found that's not related to Canada, but it kind of sums up the energy that the West is dealing with. Can you read that?
Leftist white people kind of are dealing with. It says, I'm raising my kids in a town with fewer than 1,500 people. Cost of living is cheap, but we need to drive to find diversity.
It's like, what are you talking about? You have a nice, small, knit group of people, and everyone's living together, and the cost of living is low, and it's like a high-trust society. We got to get some migrants here.
That's to own somebody. That's to own people who like don't think we should have migrants here. It becomes a battle. Instead of being correct, it becomes like a you hate, or I view your policy decision as hate, so therefore we have to do it. And then ultimately it involves more crime. Canada, we've shown the charts how they haven't gained any productivity from this recent spate of migrants. And a lot of them are taking benefits. And it's like a dependent class. Also, another thing, I want to go back to the previous video just for a point. They say this is what democracy looks like. When you're a leftist and a leftist wins, this is what democracy looks like. Take that, Trump. And when a right-winger wins, it's like, this is fascism. Instead of literally everybody voting and like, oh, we lost this one. This is too what democracy looks like. They only say this is what democracy looks like when they win. So
and then it's not democracy when they lose.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And then there's another, I think, a sub-election within the main presidential election, whatever they call it. And look who's running.
This is the state of Canada right now.
Here's
Parminder Sudeep.
Parminder.
Guritan Sarah Singh. They at least got her a Canadian Americanized name. Harjit Jaswal and Safdar Hussain. These are the types of guys who are seizing power while boomers care about their home price alone.
It's over. It's over. All right, and then next...
It's sad. This is like our neighbor to the north. This was a humble country of 30 million people who had a very specific national identity. And now it's just whoever comes in, that's our identity now, whatever the mix is.
Cold weather, white people, hockey and whiskey and cutting down trees and shit.
Hunting, timber, like all those kind of industries that built up Canada, even oil. And even Calgary was like a, Rocky Mountain town. That was like, bull riding and stuff like that. Cowboy version of Canadians. And now it's just Indian.
And it's getting to the point where the Canadians are also different versions of the Indians. Look at this next clip.
Reliable कार चाहिए in stock सड्डी को 2025 Honda Civic Sports हैगी है. You can own this car in only $290 bi-weekly with $0 down. For best deals, ओना कितने हैं? Khardua.
I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore.
Where'd you get the accent? How did that come up?
Did you grow up in an entire town full of Indian people?
No, I think she's putting it on, obviously, but that's crazy. And I think she married a, whatever you call him.
Yeah, she's not doing it as a bit, I don't think. All right, next, there's a guy who gave a speech about can Canadian be saved. It's a little bit of a long clip, but it's worth listening to.
There is no way that Canada can be saved. We have brought in so many immigrants and we have diluted our values to such a high degree that we don't even know what the nation of Canada is anymore. Go to Brampton, go to Surrey, go to Edmonton and Calgary right now. You will not recognize the place that you are in. We're not bringing in the world's best and brightest, folks. We had very high standards for bringing people in, and we were bringing in great immigrants who are contributing to our economy. We are now bringing in people who cost the Canadian taxpayer an average of $3,500 a month, which is more than our elderly get from OAS and CPP combined on average. We are right now a hotel for the world's welfare cases. Our productivity has not gone up in the last decade. That means we've brought in 4 million people and see no increase in productivity. But it gets worse. We haven't seen any GDP growth. I think it's over the last 10 years, 0.97. When you account for things like inflation and immigration, we have seen a decrease in our quality of life over the last decade, and it's only going to get worse. So do I think Canada can be
and
crazy?
I mean, I don't know. What's the lesson here? It's hard not to get blackpilled. They're trying to do this to places like Ireland. Joe Biden did it to America, and we're working on getting those people out.
This is the playbook they're running in every Western white nation.
Yeah, and I think globalism, right? We used to talk about globalism as free trade and basically letting people rip off America all the time. And they've kind of replaced that with, well, let's just get the bodies into those places instead. Trump's obviously using the tariffs and trying to negotiate better deals so we don't get ripped off. But it's like they've levered the next step in globalism, making everyone multi-ethnic blobs. And these people don't assimilate. We're going to show some stories, I think, of, like Somalians in Minnesota, the Haitians in Ohio, these little pockets of people. They don't assimilate. They don't help our country. They don't help the quality of life. And that's something we've talked about a lot is quality of life. I don't give a fuck if GDP grows at 3.5% if I'm living near third worlders. You know what I mean? So
it's human bioweapon warfare.
Yeah. It's a new stage of globalism and it's happening to everyone. And we got to come to a solution.
Exactly. And to top it all off, not only is Canada a victim to predatory population replacing migration, they're also falling victim to some of the trans shit. Can you read that?
Well, they've been falling victim to some of the trans shit. Ontario must pay for surgery to give trans resident both a penis and a vagina. Appeal court. The Court of Appeal says OHIP must cover surgery for a resident seeking to have a vagina constructed while leaving his penis intact.
He wants both.
And it's like...
And you have to pay for it. Fully cooked. But can we send our illegals to Canada and just let Canada become like a no-go zone?
I don't know. I still think there's a chance of saving Canada. That's the problem. I want to send our illegals to Haiti. That's already a shit zone,
Yeah, that's true.
Canada can be nice, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. It's very sad to watch Canada go down this path. And then, what use is saying we were right? 5 years from now, me and Fleckus are going to be exactly right. We were going to be dead on. Wow, this was a problem. Canada sucks now. This isn't the Canada I grew up with. But what's the fact of being right when the changes are irreversible?
So true.
So how do you get ahead of this? And I hope a country shows us the way, like Ireland. I really want to see Ireland make it out.
Yeah, deport everybody in a couple of years. Conor McGregor's the president, stuff like that.
Conor McGregor seizes control. He stays dictator for like way longer than he's allowed to.
Take me out.
I want to see some crazy shit.
Take me out of the chair.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's cover it on our end as well. We're getting into our migrant section. The first clip was going viral yesterday, and it's a woman with her child calling someone the N-word. And it looks a little harsh, but there's actually some context to it that you probably didn't hear.
You call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
Your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
So, it doesn't look great.
She said the N-word, said it on camera, said it proudly.
Said it proudly, and it's a word. And then you look at who she's talking to, who's accusing her of being racist for saying a word, and it's actually a child rapist.
It's a guy named Sharmak Bail Omar, and he's a typical Somali type that hangs around Minnesota. 2 Rochester men will appear in court May 5th on joint charges of 3rd and 5th degree criminal sexual conduct after being accused of raping a 16-year-old after offering her a place to stay.
Yeah.
So shouldn't you not be around the children's park? Isn't there some sort of geofence 500 feet around that you're not in compliance with your bail for?
Yeah, exactly. So you're at a children's playground as a alleged child rapist. And I wonder what's worse, the mean word or a Somali child rapist being at the playground?
Mean word doesn't do anything. Nothing at all. Somali shouldn't even be in America. Child rapist shouldn't be near the park. I'm going to go with that, man.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those things where, the black people post this, go crazy, dox her, here's her address, here's this, here's all the information about her. Let's see who she works for. Same thing where they get overhyped like who prank called Shedeur Sanders on draft night. And then we have people getting stabbed. We had the paramedic who was killed, the firefighter paramedic killed in Kansas City, Missouri last week.
No one talks about it.
We have real deaths, rape, murders.
The guy got hit with the axe at the bus stop.
Just people dying, and then they go crazy over a 6-letter word.
From some lady.
That's some lady who's trying to raise a kid in America. So is it good to say the N-word on camera at someone?
Depends
what they did right before.
Depends who you're talking to.
But yeah, I'm tired of this fake outrage. And obviously, something pushed her over the edge. There was some kid rifling through her shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then the N-word stuff, it's like, is no one an N-word? That's the question I always bring up. And black people agree with that too. Mm-hmm. Black people all the time say, oh yeah, there's N's and then there's normal black people. And then if you say someone's an N-word, are you saying that no one's an N-word? And then everyone's just an upstanding citizen? It's like, no, there's a certain type of behavior that makes you an N.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't argue with you there.
I have to clarify that, guys. Yeah. There is a time and a place. All right, let's go to Texas. Speaking of Muslims in America, this is a map of the mosques in Texas surrounding Dallas.
Yeah, and you zoom in and it just gets worse. Speaking of ethnic enclaves in the United States.
Look at that. And there's more and more popping up the more you zoom in.
And then eventually this city, like Minneapolis and whatever, Dallas, these cities are just going to become we're going to give it up. We're going to give it up to these stupid people. And what used to be nice places are just kind of going to have pockets and no-go zones. And thankfully, Texas is huge and the city of Dallas is very expansive. But man,
we got to get them out.
You hate to see this. And we joke about Canada and how bad they are, and we're not that far behind, chasing the ever-loving high of an extra point of GDP.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So we got to change our ways.
And let's jump to the UK, where this 13-year-old was interviewed about some of her negative interactions, and they call the people Asians, but I think it's Pakistani Indians.
Yeah.
Party.
And you go to a local school?
Yeah.
Have you lived in this area all your life?
Yeah.
You're having problems at school. Can you just elaborate on the kind of problems that you're having?
Asian boys coming up to me and saying, I'm going to rape you, and if you don't go with me, I'm going to punch you in the face with a knuckle duster, and if you don't, give me a blowjob.
And this is happening at the school to several girls, is it? It's not an individual case?
No, it's happening to lots of girls.
Do you think the teachers and the authorities are aware of this?
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's what we're dealing with.
Men.
Yeah, men.
Frickin' men. I can't
men
believe
can't
it.
control themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy. Rape culture and men.
Sick.
Has nothing to do with third world rats being brought in by the thousands to every major city in the West.
And that's what's coming. I was going to say, it's like it's already here. Like that lady the lady at the playground, she was talking to a Somali rapist. So it's already here. There was actually a Facebook post I thought was pretty insightful about a guy in the UK who's Muslim, and he's complaining about the atmosphere, but it kind of gives it away in his reply.
He said, being a Muslim here in Europe is so hard. I cannot get a good job because companies are so racist. And then someone replies, why not come here in the UAE instead? It's a Muslim country. Plenty of work for you, bro. And he goes, my visa application to go there got rejected because I have a crime record at home. I can't even renew my passport yet.
And that's who gets let in.
Third world criminal rats. And then the same thing, the Somali guy, right? I don't know what generation Somali is. He didn't sound too bad. This guy too. He gets to Europe. Companies are so racist. Did you say the N-word? I'm going to film you. These people, one of the first thing they learn, and we've shown with the Indian guy at the Canadian DMV saying, you're doing a racism.
Yeah.
It's one of the first lessons they learn is weaponize your race against these people whose countries you're invading.
Against white people.
Yeah.
That's like how they do it.
Lesson 1.
And obviously rape is horrible, and the only thing worse than rape is raping a dead body.
Desecrating a corpse.
Which is our next story.
So we have an update. We covered the story, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so the guy who was...
He
was, getting it on with a corpse on the train, and he was like stopping in between stops. Like the doors would open and he'd be like, whistling, and then he'd get back to it once the train was moving. It was all on camera, but the New York Post had a funny headline. Small fry sicko who raped corpse on NYC subway was crafty enough to stop when train hit stations.
He's smart.
Small fry sicko. And this guy's like a 5-foot flat illegal immigrant.
Yeah, illegal. And that's who we have on our subways.
Yep. And there's nothing else to say, really. Just
all right. Yeah,
that's what illegals are up to.
That's what they're up to. And it was an update to that last story. It was an illegal. We have the Venezuelan gang members who are in jail, I believe, in Texas, waiting to be deported.
Yeah, this is the detention center in Texas for mostly Venezuelans, and look at what they did.
They organized.
Yeah, they got together.
Spelled SOS.
They did a little theater project, a little performance.
Yeah. SOS, There's no hotel. There's no more visas with cash on them.
No more pre-made meals. No more free legal help.
Yeah. No, guys, SOS. This is way worse than living at the Roosevelt Hotel and having lunch in Tribeca. This is way worse.
SOS. I was in Manhattan and I was gangbanging. I could do whatever I want. SOS. So hilarious. And then also, we cover the crowds on demand story from before. You get a crowd on demand. What's this stable, high-quality drone shot of the SOS? Who set this up? All right, guys, slip them a note at visiting hours. Guys, we need at least 25 of you to do an SOS. We're going to have a drone at noon. What time's yard time?
They know what SOS even means?
I know. It would be like NVR something. It would be ESS.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. And then also they're doing
Ayúdame.
They're doing it at a soccer field.
Yeah.
So you guys are having fun if you want. You play soccer.
We gave him a soccer field, and there's volleyball off to the side if you're not a good soccer player. That's the SOS.
SOS. The field is mostly dirt. All right, our last piece of migrants. There was an update. Kilmar Garcia, the MS-13 guy who got deported, and the Democrats went and tried to support him and visited him.
Made him a linchpin of their opposition, I would say.
Yep, they try to make it like we're deporting some nice Maryland dad. And it turns out there was a police report from 2018 where his wife said she feels like she's in danger and wants a restraining order because he is a gang member.
So
gotcha again. We knew the whole time.
She covered the tattoos. She said it in court records, but, Democrats need to go visit him.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. And so that's the point, too. A lot of this, broadly speaking, they don't even have a case. You would think they would make someone the poster child of their case, and it would be like, wow, they got us there. That guy really was a math teacher at a high school, and he volunteered. That was a really good one. Even when they were up the machine, their picks are horrible. They're horrible people. Gang members, domestic assault, smuggling people. So we really are right, but what good is being right if you don't have the power to exercise it and make that change? We won the popular vote, right? And then judges, whatever. We're going to be right about Canada. But what does that matter if Canada's ruined? I don't want to be correct and then deal with the fallout of it. I want to be correct and then wield power, right?
Exactly. And then usually it would be like, imagine Kilmar Garcia, the MS-13 guy. Imagine he was an upstanding citizen who got wrongfully deported.
Yeah.
Like if they had presented that, and then we would say, well, that's one guy, and then 100,000 other guys are actually gang members, and you're just focusing on the one. They don't even have the one. They're focusing on the gang member.
They just found a random guy, and they were like, hope this checks out. Hope nobody finds some old police reports. So they don't even do their research before making him a poster child.
So they make him a poster child, and it's like, well, besides him, everyone else is a gang member. It's like, including him.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're moving on now to our final page of housekeeping. Make sure you guys help us with tickling the post and juicing the algo. Leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. Notifications need to be on. P.O. Box needs to be full. The episodes need to be sent to the group chat.
Yeah.
And old episodes need to be watched.
That's it.
All right, my final page
Imagine
of
someone does every single thing on that list. The one day they just check it off. Yeah. All-star.
Shake my hand. All stars, right. All right, speaking of all stars, Oliver Cho.
I'm tired of this shit.
Well,
this guy's not even funny.
Then you don't have to participate.
All right, you want to play it?
Let him play.
When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse.
All right, that's enough. So, as you guys can probably imagine, I'm obviously swallowing my pride and reopening negotiations, or I'm at least willing to reopen negotiations with Oliver Cho. Can you read what I commented and what he replied?
Oliver, I'm willing to open negotiations back up if you are. And he replied, thank you so much. I have the willingness. Let's talk in message.
So, here we go. I can't let this get away from me. I was trying to play hardball, and I was kind of bluffing. Like, oh, I don't care. Like, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to do a deal. I can't let this talent get away from me.
Okay.
See, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, I'm just going to skip this one. Hey, he's Asian, and he's singing, and he's a bad singer, and he can barely pronounce it. Let's show it 20 times on the show. That's what you're up to.
That's my thought process,
I know.
too. I agree.
Let's show it more than 10 times. Let's keep doing it.
Well, he keeps making new videos.
I know. That's the point.
He's great at it.
Okay.
All right, let's get to
my piece.
Let's get to our next story.
You
Stop complaining. Stop complaining. It's the final page of housekeeping. What are the rules? I can say whatever I want.
You made those rules.
All right, next, someone made an AI of me, Henchman HQ. Guys, this is not what I look like in a suit.
Bigger.
This is not an exact one-for-one replica. This is AI, and as you know, AI oftentimes screws things up. So it's not accurate. That person in the picture is AI and 440 pounds, and I don't weigh anywhere near that anymore. Ever. Never even close to 440. 440 is crazy.
440 is crazy. Everybody knows that.
So it's not even real. It's not what I look like in a suit.
Okay.
All right, Michelle Obama had a little bit of a gotcha moment the other day.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
She's saying Marlon Wayans or whatever as a Black man, but she should not. She should just stay away from that sentence.
And then saying, as a Black man, you.
As a Black man, you go open palm like this. As a Black man, you don't go as a Black man.
As a Black man.
You don't bring it inward.
Yeah, you don't bring it inward. You don't bring it inward. All right, that was, it's just a little funny thing.
Yeah.
We're not saying she's a man. She is, but she's not going to admit it like that.
So we know at least one viewer is scouring the Michelle Obama podcast looking for right-wing clips.
Yeah, and we're going to check back in a couple weeks and see how those numbers are doing once all the right-wingers stop hate watching.
And I think she does this less than a year. Or, there might be a contract that goes 2 years, and then she'll do like the minimum obligation.
Yeah, the end of the year when the holidays come around,
it'll just quietly
it'll be like, oh yeah, we're off for Thanksgiving.
You'll never hear from me again.
And then it never comes back. Okay, we have some pepper spray season updates. As you guys know, it's pepper spray season. It's the easiest way to
diffuse a situation.
Diffuse and de-escalate a situation with urban individuals that you don't feel like shooting with a gun.
Without having to wait and stand around and wait for the police and talk to the police.
Exactly. So here's a couple uses of pepper spray.
One of those annoying bike gangs that's hogging up the street, ignoring traffic laws. All the urban youths.
Oh, Mace! He maced us!
So obviously we can't advocate that. We can't advocate for that, but those guys are breaking the rules and they're slowing down traffic and they're messing things up, and you can't just shoot them with the gun, obviously.
It's better than them breaking your window.
Exactly. You can't do anything once you're pepper sprayed. All right, next, this lady does the same thing.
You a clout chaser ass bitch. You're a clout chaser. You don't be on shit.
That's the one. That's the one I need, dude. The one I need. You see that stream come out? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, that's just direct shot.
And she goes, you're on live, smiling into your whole car is like irredeemable for a week.
Pepper spray the Black woman.
Classic. And that's black on black pepper spray.
Yep. So it's allowed even more. And then our next clip doesn't involve pepper spray, but you could have used it. I also just wanted an excuse to show this clip because I didn't know where else to put it. Look at the approach. It's kind of a nightmare situation. Back of the knee stomp. Back of the knee stomp. And then, it's a fight. You could use pepper spray here to de-escalate it. But look at the guy who comes in to break up the fight with right here.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? You see him come in and try to wrap, go like this.
It's a gentle suggestion.
Why don't you and he hooks him with his arm. People have no capability. You got to grab in the chest. You control him from the chest.
Yeah.
Pancake him.
Yep. Or wrist control. You grab him by the wrists.
Wrist.
That's
anything.
more fighting.
And if you're a small guy and that guy would fuck you up and he's already willing to fight, clearly, pepper spray him.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our last piece of the final page of housekeeping. Is society losing its color? And I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, we just finished the migrant section. We're more colorful and diverse than ever.
That's clear gaining. Look at Canada. It's gaining color.
And that's mostly brown.
Yeah.
And brown's one color, and it's actually not even that colorful.
Yeah.
So I saw this post online. We're going to go through it quick. The relentless shift to a what does it say? Neutrality?
Yeah.
Why is the world losing color?
Fun to watch you struggle with that.
Well, it's like a bubble font. I can't read it from here.
Okay.
And then you go down and you see society, what it looks like compared to what it used to look like. And we used to have bright colors and fun colors and all different stuff. And now everything just seems to be gray, silver, black, or brown.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cars is one of the biggest things I notice. And I actually respect people who drive kind of obnoxious cars these days. Orange is one. Yellow. I respect you if you're standing out. But yeah, look at the parking lot comparison. McDonald's is a stupid box now. And here's car colors by year. And, we lost it.
We lost it.
So
something to think about.
I don't know. What's the conclusion? Be more. And then the people who are doing colorful stuff are like the annoying leftist art teacher who wears like the stupid thing in her hair and giant obnoxious glasses.
Yeah.
You know the type.
I do.
And so I don't know. Can we let them take color from us? I don't think we can.
Might be time to have a colorful summer.
Could be.
Maybe we incorporate that in with the BLT.
Yeah.
Sandwiches summer and then colorful summer. But I don't know. I don't know if I even want to sign myself up for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right. Our first clip of Cringe of the Week. This woman moved to Ghana to avoid white colonialism, racism in America, and she doesn't seem to like it.
But y'all, I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bullshit bribery, the bullshit fraud, the bullshit scams, the bullshit too expensive, the bullshit not having no snacks, the bullshit not having no food, the bullshit electricity, the bullshit hot water, the bullshit what's that shit called that be coming down? The bullshit animals and scorpions outside the house. It's big ass spiders. It's big ass lizards. Colorful lizards you ain't never seen before. All in the fucking room with you, sleeping with you. All the bullshit people trying to scam you when you go outside thinking you rich. So they trying to get more money off of you. I'm really trying to wrap my head around this shit. I'm really trying to wrap my head around how are Americans coming to Africa and being happy. Please comment down below.
So it turns out Ghana sucks and you can't stand Africans. And then America is racist because they can't stand Africans either.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's an interesting circular logic there. And I like that snacks was a main complaint. It seemed like a pretty important pillar. Snacks and food.
No snacks. Meanwhile, half of Ghana doesn't have access to clean drinking water, but you can't find hot Cheetos anywhere.
Yeah, you're a giant fat mouth breather and you've become accustomed to a certain kind of life.
And it's nice to see what people get into. You always hear the stories of like, oh, if Trump's elected, I'm leaving America. And you don't really hear from him again. It's nice to check back in, and especially with people that go to a third world country and say, oh, it's time to come back. This sucks. Mm-hmm. I didn't appreciate what I had when I had it.
Yeah, and then this is just, what did you waste money-wise? What'd you waste?
A lot.
Come on back. And you get used to a certain kind of life. You really can't go to third world. You can spend a week on the third world if there's a nice beach.
If you go to Tulum.
Yeah, you go to something like that. But otherwise, it's not a real living experience, especially if you're a pampered American, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. All right.
And then not only a pampered American, but like an EBT American type.
Yeah.
Where you really like the snacks and the processed shit and the easy come, easy go, Uber Eats.
You don't realize how good you had it as an EBT American.
I know.
All right. Our next section within Cringe is about how kids don't know anything anymore. Listen to this clip from the substitute teacher.
I thought y'all was lying to me on this app when y'all said that these kids didn't know nothing. These kids don't know shit. Like nothing, nada. They don't know basic math like addition, subtraction, division, fractions, multiplication. They don't know none of that. And it is really sad. They can tell you what a gay person is, what's bisexual, what they did do, what kind of gun this is, who sang this song, the lyrics to that, and they know all of that. They know what studs and dykes is, but they don't know what basic math is. Parents, what are y'all doing? Y'all are failing y'all kids. It is not.
And he blames the parents, but I'm assuming the parents aren't checking their homework.
And I assume the parents aren't giving them lessons on studs and dykes and gays and bisexuals. I think that comes from the teachers, I'm pretty sure.
It comes from the teachers. So the teachers are teaching them weird LGBT gay shit, and then the parents aren't making sure the kids do their homework. And even if they wanted to help the kids with the homework, I don't know if the parents know anything either.
I don't think so.
And this is something we've seen time and time again from Justin Awad, a friend in real life and a friend of the show. Here's a clip from him, and that kind of encapsulates this as well.
25 times 3 is?
No.
Guess. Give me your best guess.
45. 45.
Yes. How many inches are in 2 feet?
2
inches?
Yeah, 2.
Yes. Do you know what country the Vietnam War happened in?
No.
Guess a country. What do you think it happened?
Italy?
Italy. How many inches are in 2 feet? 2. So an inch is a foot.
Yeah, that's the math. That he got, yeah.
Yeah, inch and foot means the same thing.
Yeah.
And then we have this stat, which we showed on the show before, but not a single student can do math at grade level in 53 Illinois schools.
Yep.
And while that's happening simultaneously, the teachers want pay raises and more improvements to their contracts.
Yeah, the Chicago Teachers Union had $50 billion in demands. Some of those demands included that unused school facilities would be turned into migrant housing, police-free schools, so they want to get police out of the most dangerous schools, fully paid abortions for members, annual training on LGBTQ plus issues, and a 9% wage increase for teachers. That's what they're demanding. While the scores aren't going up, the people aren't proficient in math or reading, and it looks like they got it, at least.
They did get some. Chicago Teachers Union contract bumps average teacher from $86K a year to over $114K.
And this just happened, I think, a week and a half ago. The average Chicago public school teacher saw the huge salary increase by 27 to 2028. Just the raises will cost Chicagoans up to $1.25 billion.
And you're not working in the summer.
And Chicago's beleaguered. It's like an in-debt, mismanaged city at this point. Brandon Johnson's running it into the ground. And then it's just, they get a raise because it's about time. It's about time I got a raise. Has nothing to do with performance or the kids or if anyone's gotten better or if you got more accredited like degrees or you went to night school or something. It's just, it's about time. Pay up. We're a really strong union. And they have their hand out, right?
It's crazy. And then there's this stat here from ABC News. An estimated 43 million Americans struggle to read or write. And then if you run the math on that with the U.S. population of 327 million, 43 million is 13% of the population.
Uh-oh.
So 13% of the population is doing none of the reading and writing.
They can't do anything. They're doing nothing.
So something else to think about with that 13% number.
I can't even imagine how that would be in America, like struggling to read or write. Do you just know a couple words and like you know how to work a menu at a fast food restaurant or?
Yeah. Let me just get pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
Sir, this is a Chinese restaurant. Oh, yeah.
It's a burrito.
I'll do a quesadilla.
It's really sad.
It's very sad. And then when you have all these underperforming students, it actually drags down the high performers as well. Can you read this Reddit post about the high achievers?
Yeah, it's from a teacher. It says, my high achievers are starting to notice their hard work doesn't matter. 6th grade teacher in an SBG district. We are not allowed to take off any points for late work, and because creativity/visual appeal on projects isn't a standard of mine, I am not allowed to grade it. Meaning one kid has a poster with nothing but some words written in pencil, gets the exact same grade as the kids who went above and beyond. They've started to notice that the kid who turns things in late faces no consequences, and the kids who do the bare minimum get the same grade as them. One of them said to my face, "How is it fair he turned his project in late with nothing but pencil on his poster, but mine is on time and creative and we get the same grade?" I didn't know how to respond appropriately, so I asked my admin what I should say, and they told me, tell them that life isn't fair. So now I have kids catching on to this, refusing to work because they now know they can do it whenever they want with no consequences, and then when they do work, they do the bare minimum, because why would you work harder for the same amount of credit?
It's crazy.
And that's like the one thing, if you're going to be a teacher or in a public school or influencing young kids on their journey, you really, really don't want them to see behind the curtain or start seeing contradictions in what you're up to or, hey, this system doesn't really make sense, does it? Because it completely demoralizes and then they see it as a system and they game it. You want that earnest, hard work, everybody do your best. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get a B+ or whatever. You tried your hardest and you applied yourself. When it becomes this weird, perverse thing where I don't give a fuck. it makes it worse for everybody, right?
It makes it worse for everybody, and there's no child left behind, so everyone goes to the next grade, even though they didn't meet the standards. And then you're going to pass that. If you failed freshman year, are you going to pass sophomore year? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Then Greg Abbott had a tweet about school choice, and I'm not going to make a point about school choice, but I want you to notice the grammar and the capitalizations.
He said Texans want school choice. School choice is supported by overwhelming majorities of Hispanic Americans, capitalized, Black Americans, capitalized, and white Americans across the state, lowercase for white.
Lowercase for white. Everyone's prioritized but white people, and then white people are the ones who do their homework.
Yeah.
And then into our last piece of this whole segment, what are the kids doing who are low achievers, or what are their aspirations? We actually found a video that's pretty disturbing.
What do you think of this?
Hey, Kingston, you say you want to come ride with us?
Yeah.
What you gonna do though, like, if you get caught?
I ain't snitch. I went to juvie. I actually went to juvie because I stabbed the teacher with scissors. You can ask Larry. I chased my teacher with scissors. I chased my teacher with scissors and I stabbed her, and they said, "Oh, you're going to juvie for 3 months." I said, "Okay." And then that's when I went to juvie. Then that's when I
got out. You got out?
That's when I changed.
Wait, was it hard in juvie? You was in there running fades?
Yes.
Dang, you did 3 months in that month. Months in that month.
I'm about to go. I got court May 1st and May 21st.
Damn.
Wow.
Wow, and the young child's voice.
He's got aspirations.
Talks about stabbing his teacher, but can you read holes? Can you read Catcher in the Rye?
Nope. Well, Huck Finn, racist.
Yeah, well, you can go gangbang with the older kids. I'm sure that's going to help you long term. Stay out of juvie.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to our final piece of cringe, which is the businesses and institutions destroyed by retards.
Okay.
Our first one is Starbucks again.
Thing that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves. I don't understand how that's supposed to embody craft and culture and bring us back to that coffee house kind of vibe that Starbucks is asking for, because for some reason you all can't understand how to schedule more people in a zone. You can't understand that people are taking LOA, and that you can't understand that it's not appropriate to tell someone that they are okay, that they should be doing the work of 4 people. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry, how often do I see you actually on the floor and actually helping instead of going against things that help us? When your partners are saying, I need you, I need help. Sorry, we're busy. I'm doing admin.
Shut up. You're going to get replaced by AI. They're complaining also mostly about the dress code.
Yeah.
Because the dress code changed. You have to wear like an all black shirt or like khakis or black pants and the apron. And they don't like that because they lose the opportunity to express themselves.
To wear a bandana and a giant trans shirt and make it about them instead of about the company that people are coming to visit.
And the company's paying you to make coffee that the company makes to give to people. It's not about you at all. Just replace these people with hungry teenagers is my advice.
I know. Blonde girls. Just go crazy. Blonde girls. And I don't come into a Starbucks for a giant fat man trans little boy. I come in for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And they're really pissed about not being able to express their individuality. But this is what happens. There's kind of like you get a little bit of culture and then it becomes the whole dominating thing, and that's all you deal with. And we're going to get to another example of that with Carnival Cruise.
Yeah, that comes next. But keep in mind, too, we've mentioned this before, when you hire one trans person or non-binary or LGBT type, that's who's going to hire the next person and the next person, and then you're going to lose all your hard workers and you're only going to get non-binaries. You're going to be overwhelmed. And then you're going to go, next thing you know, you go into your own coffee shop and you're getting a lecture about George Floyd from a girl with the beard and testosterone.
It's slippery. It gets crazy fast.
It gets crazy, Mr. Nadler. All right, next we have Carnival Cruise, also another company being destroyed by retards. Here we have a huge brawl.
Yep. This is in the baggage claim after I think 10 or 7 day Caribbean cruise. So people should be at their peak relaxed. They should be, wow, I'm so refreshed.
Or maybe they're thinking back to real life.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Yeah. Boom. better attack some people. And this brawl went on for some time. And eventually dozens of these people were put on a do not sail list after the massive brawl broke out.
And do not sail list, that sounds kind of sophisticated.
Yeah.
They losing their maritime privileges and shit.
I paints a picture of them like in a old school pirate outfit, seafaring and pulling down the sails.
And Carnival Cruises has kind of gotten themselves into trouble with the clientele that they've been putting on the ocean. I don't know if it's their pricing or if they're sailing out of New Orleans every time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's become a black cruise. And then like normal, rational white people, they don't want to go on a black cruise. So then now it's only a black cruise. And then with that comes fist fights and not a lot of tipping and talking shit and disrespecting and
like loud dance
marijuana
parties.
smoking.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I think it plays out.
Yeah, it's weird because they started slipping into that, oh man, there's a lot of hood shit going on Carnival, and then it kind of like signaled out, and then other people were like, okay, that's where we go, that's the hood shit. And now Carnival's the hood cruise line, just maybe mainly catering to the black crowd, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I might go short CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines.
That's a good stock pick. That is
short.
Financial advice.
Yeah.
From Richard.
I might go short CCL.
And then some companies are tired of it, obviously. They're tired of the bad urban behavior. And then they're posting things about what they're allowing and not allowing. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, this is from Social Bar and Grill, a restaurant in St. Louis. And it says, no weapons, no exceptions. And then dress code, no mask, no men's bags, no backpacks, no hoodies, no saggy pants, no men's sleeveless tank tops, no overly revealing outfits. And then a dining rule says, guests who emit marijuana odors, vape indoors, or exhibit loud and disrespectful behavior will be asked to leave.
And it also says if you order it and touch it, it's yours. You pay for it. No returns, no exceptions. And then what's the next one?
Due to certain patrons refusing to add gratuity to their bill, a 20% gratuity will be added to all bills.
And then when you pay with the credit card, you also have to show ID.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. So there's a certain group of people
It's called Chinese finger trap now. You can't leave. We actually have you.
Exactly. All right. Next is a store freakout. We're going to play it in the beginning. I just really want to show you the insult she throws at the end.
Get that fucking phone out of my face.
Hit me.
Get that fucking phone out.
Please hit me. Come on.
Get your phone.
Do it. Oh, yeah. There we go. I got 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. Doop. Oh, come on. Throw some more. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Get me out that
Let's
fucking
get it.
camera.
Let's skip to the end here. A little before that, right there.
Come on, fuck him. He a
Come on, let's do it.
Come on. Don't play with me. Come
Fuck
on.
all that shit.
Bro, come on. Broke bum ass. Look at your feet.
You
Broke
shop
as
here,
hell.
remember?
Italian sausages on your motherfucking What you coming out?
Look at your feet. Italian sausages on your motherfucking feet. That's pretty good.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
All right. No big deal. I just wanted everyone to know you get humiliated if someone says Italian sausage feet. That's pretty good.
All right. Okay.
All right. Our last clip is the woman cop who shoots her own reflection in the mirror.
Yeah, these two cops are clearing a house, and the woman sees herself in the mirror.
There's a freaking mirror, bro. I turned that way.
All right. So to be fair, she did see a black person with a gun.
Yeah, so there was a gun pointed at her, so what do? You shoot. But to play the other side of it, she shot a cop.
Which maybe she can't help it.
I know.
Maybe that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And imagine if you're a normal cop and you're paired with this person as your partner.
What do you think coming into work the next day is like? Yeah.
Horrible.
And she sounds black, too, so she shot a black person. But the black person was armed, so it wasn't even a consideration for her. But yeah, you got a jumpy woman cop behind you clearing the house. I'd make I'd make her go first next time.
Yeah, exactly. I wear the bulletproof vest every day.
Yeah, make sure you put your back plates in. A lot of people don't.
All right, our last piece of cringe, part of the institutions destroyed by retards. FBI agents photographed kneeling during George Floyd protests have been removed from their positions.
Yeah.
They were never FBI agents. You're just girl bosses who go, oh, I'm a girl, and I'm going to show you by being an FBI agent. Oh, yeah, FBI agents? What do you think those look like? Well, they're girls. I'm one. And that's why they do it. And then now here you are, and you kneel.
And look at the fat one.
Yeah, you're not an FBI agent. I'm an FBI agent.
Yeah, I'm an FBI agent. You're not. You're a fat woman kneeling. I'm an FBI agent.
All right, that's the end of cringe. We're now moving on to Urban Decay. All right, our first clip of Urban Decay is from Portland. This guy is messed up from bath salts, and he was able to smoke those bath salts from a harm reduction program who gave him the pipe.
Harm reduction workers were here an hour ago, and they gave him a pipe. Well, a pipe to smoke the bath salts.
Is it to like harm reduction as in a person becomes root and they do this to people so they're not spreading diseases?
That's the idea with Neil Exchange, but well, look at the results. Well, the results of handing someone the tools to continue to use. That's insane.
Sure. Like, where do they have that at? Here in Portland?
Yeah, it's newer here.
There you go.
And then the public safety coordinators come. So the harm reduction team comes, amps him up. And I don't think you can be called harm reduction team if a guy immediately starts swinging 2x4s in the middle of the street.
Yeah, to reduce the harm, you gave him a pipe to smoke his bath salts with, and then he did, and then here he is. Would you say that worked?
Yeah, two ineffective sides of city services. The harm reduction team, here's a crack pipe, go to town. And then the public safety officers come and go, whoa, sir, calm down. We've gotten a few calls about you. Insane, and that's in Portland. Did you
That's in
mention
Portland, yeah. And then the crack pipe or needle that they provide ends up on the ground, so you can't take your family downtown anymore. So downtown isn't walkable, but you can smoke bath salts very easily. It's a trade-off. That's, I guess, life in the big city.
It looked fun. It looked fun to me. Those bath salts, I personally wouldn't, but I'm tempted. And especially if someone came and gave me the tools right away, made it easier.
Yeah. And also the needles and crack pipes they provide are likely taxpayer funded. So your money is used to come up with this result, which is perfectly ironic and perfectly retarded.
Yep.
All right, let's get to our next story. There was a shooting in Myrtle Beach that you did not hear about. 11 people were shot. Isn't that crazy? Did you guys hear about 11 people?
That's a lot. That's a ton. But nobody died.
11 people getting shot, but no one died, which obviously is a giveaway to a black shooter because they just go, ba, 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 ba. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And then here's the video of him being arrested.
They done fucking shot this boy. They done shot the girl. What the fuck, y'all? Police, Myrtle Beach took the police department. They fucking know better, boy. Y'all bitches some pigs, boy.
Yeah, so she's yelling at the cops, calling them pigs, even though the guy they're arresting shot 11 people.
The guy was down on the ground. They had shot him. He didn't make it. He shot the 11 people. And she calls them fucking pigs while they're tending to one of the victims of the mass shooting.
And
so that's what they think. That's what they come up on a scene and they go, cops are just killing people. That's the first thing. And isn't it so backwards and upside down based on the stats?
The cops aren't killing people, and then the people you're defending are the ones killing people. It's backwards and upside down. And the mom of the shooter is complaining that the cop shot her son as well.
Yeah. She's demanding, her name is Jaishala Fox, the mother of Jarius Davis, different last name. You know how that goes. Demanding that police explain why they shot her son. Davis is accused of shooting 11 people in Myrtle Beach before the cops shot him, and he didn't make it. And here's a quote from her, which is like textbook crazy. She says, "My baby would have never, ever pulled his gun out, ever, unless he knew there was a threat to him, unless he felt harm, unless he felt like something was fixing to happen to him. And I know this 1,000% sure.
So maybe 11 people were really about to do something to him, and he went boom, 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 Clint Eastwood style.
This was a John Wick scenario, and the goons were moving in, and Jayeshla is 1,000% sure her good boy wouldn't have done nothing. So crazy, like everybody plays their role. The bystanders blame the cops. The mom confesses the son's innocent. Wouldn't somebody just be like in shock for a little bit and be like, wow, I can't even come to terms with this. I can't believe it. I'll wait until some facts come out. There's like the assertion that the kid who shot 11 people, the bullets are all going to come from the gun and they're going to test it and find it. She just has this 1,000% sure assertion that nothing bad he did. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe she's not proficient in math and statistics.
Yeah, she ain't get the statistics.
1,000% sure. But there's no accountability. And our next clip is another example of no accountability. This guy's a repeat offender. He has 46 pages of criminal record. And listen to how he tries to weasel his way out of it because of racism.
You're 40 years old, and you have around 46 pages of criminal history. So literally for every year you've been born, you've like picked up a case. And not only that, you've got multiple failures too.
Sometimes you don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
Huh?
You don't think the jurisdiction will fail me?
But the problem is, at some point, your actions become your own. You now have with us, you've picked up a theft case here in Harris County. You've got an open case in another jurisdiction. You've got pages upon pages. So at what point is it on you?
He said, you don't think judicial failed me? Like he knows that that's kind of what you say. We're like, oh yeah, the prison system fails the prisoners and doesn't work for him. And then he's like acting like as if it's like on them to not arrest him and keep him in society when you're going to jail to be put in a cage so you don't harm other people. It's not about you anymore.
Yeah, we're not rehabilitating you. We're protecting productive members of society because you have 46 pages of a rap sheet. And he goes, at what point is it on you? The judge says that to the criminal. It's like, probably after the second crime.
Yeah.
It's all on you.
Every single one.
And you could tell this bullshit line, the judicial system help me, has worked on some judges before.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is what I was saying earlier, where the immigrants, they come and they quickly understand, oh, I'll weaponize my race. I'll say racism. I'll accuse people of doing racism. It's the same thing when American black criminals are in the court system. They know how to weaponize it. They know how to pull the levers. It's like a trick to give your mom candy, you know? Like, oh, this always works. When I put away the dishes, mom always gives me an ice cream cone. They learn. It's like you don't have to be smart to learn to play the race card.
Who's at the expense there? It's always like upstanding white people or normal people because you play the race card if you're a migrant, you play the race card if you're a black criminal, and who can't play the race card? Who actually has to be accountable for their actions? White people.
Yeah, and then this guy has 40 counts, 46 previous counts. You know, all I see when I hear that is bad judges, the judicial system failing, and then I think about 46 victims who had a bike stolen or had something stolen off their porch or got beat up for a purse.
And I think about the times he didn't get caught for doing crimes. So you probably got another 100
Iceberg theory.
Iceberg theory is right. All right, next we have some black girls getting arrested. This clip's older, but we never showed it. It was from a few months ago. But it's kind of got the same dynamic and the same thought process as that last guy with no accountability.
I'm not foreign to you. I don't even want to be dealing with you right now.
I get that. I'm not saying I don't want to deal with y'all.
Okay.
But I didn't do that.
So make smarter decisions next time. Don't drive drunk without a license.
What's wrong talking about, bro? Stop. Listen, please. Stop. Let me go. Don't touch me. Let me go. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I got her. Don't do it. You are under arrest. No. Put your hands behind your back. No. Leave my motherfucker.
So you're driving drunk without a license and you get arrested, and then you start crying and flailing around, and then there's like a wrestle and a struggle with the police, And then I'm sure some white liberal women will go to, what are you doing to her?
Yeah.
Let her go. What's going on?
I'm filming this.
Yeah.
For everyone's safety.
Exactly. All right, we're almost done with Urban Decay. Our next clip is just a funny name of an urban individual.
PRMYEC.
YSE.
YSE.
Yes.
So her name's Promise. PRMYSE.
Promise.
Promise.
That's actually a pretty good one.
That's really good.
I bet the mom, I bet some of these names that they make up, they go, yeah, like I did it. I promise. I found a new way to spell promise, babe.
Exactly. All right, our last clip of Urban Decay. We're going to go through it quick because we're running out of time now. A girl was killed because she was twerking on top of an Escalade and fell off and got ran over by a fire truck.
It was around 11:20 p.m. Saturday night when a night of fun took a tragic turn. Police say an Escalade stopped at a red light. Once the truck took the left turn, 18-year-old Nyla Simmons, who was dancing on top of the car, fell off. Moments later, she was hit by a fire truck that was responding to a call.
It's sad.
Yeah.
But it could have been any of us, you know? We all get on top of the car and twerk our shit from time to time, and this time someone wasn't so lucky.
And I like how the news report has to call it dancing. We know what kind of shit you're doing on top of the Escalade at 11:20 at night, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the news interview goes on to interview her parents, and it's like, I feel bad because they, you know, it's like a typical black couple. You know, they seem nice, and nobody deserves to lose a daughter like that. But then you just kind of like teetered on too much hood shit. She was acting ratchet, and it led to her death, you know? And you should kind of be reiterating like, hey, you never get on top of a moving car. And it's certainly bad luck that a fire truck comes immediately after.
And they're probably going to sue the fire department.
We'll see. I don't want to put words in their mouth. They're kind of in shock, but it's a sad situation and another twerking death.
All you had to do was not twerk on top of the Escalade and fall off.
It's a simple game.
All right, well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're now moving on to uplifting gold. All right, uplifting gold. We have some uplifting stuff today.
Okay, I hope so.
I've been 50-50. Sometimes it's uplifting. Sometimes it's like just random clips that I don't actually think are uplifting.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
First is
I think the audience has gotten used to it. I'm going to be honest.
Please, guys, don't be mad. But our first is a tweet from Rabbi Shmuley, one of my least favorite people in the entire world. And he puts a picture of Tucker and says, Holocaust denier, Israel hater, Tucker Cartarlson.
It's a good meme.
It's good. Yeah. Anti-Semite of the year.
I think Rabbi Shmuley might be contributing to anti-Semitism. Like, if he might get a tap on the shoulder being like, hey, bro, delete the Twitter, sit out.
You're
fueling it. You're actually hate crime. We have a chart when you started tweeting hate crimes up.
But I think that is the goal. Him to cause more hate crimes so they can go, look at all the anti-Semitism. Oh, look.
Rabbi
he pushed
Shmuley's
me in
bad.
the deli.
He's very bad.
And
he's a disgusting looking guy, too.
He's horribly disgusting.
Disfigured almost.
And then I was thinking for you, what could your anti-Semitic name be? Richard Rabbi Hater. But
not your best.
That wasn't very good. All right, next we have a funny Good Will Hunting parody, and it's as if it was Good Will Hunting but with an Indian guy.
When are you done with those meetings?
Next week.
They're gonna hook you up with a job or what?
Yeah, they want me at a call center with a bunch of Patels just scamming geezers all day.
Hey, B's doing this shit. At least you'll make some good money.
Yeah, be some fucking scam call jockey.
It's a way out of here.
Why would I want out of here for? I want to be here for the rest of my life. I want our kids to grow up and be best friends.
You're my best friend, so don't take this the wrong way. But if you're still living here in 10 years, still coming over watching the Pats game, still working construction, I'll fucking kill you.
Chuck, what are you talking about?
You got something that none of us have.
Why is it always this? Like I fucking owe it to myself or something?
Nah, fuck that. You owe it to me. Because tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'll be 50, still doing this shit. And that's okay. But you're sitting on a mount of Google Play cards. You're too much of a pussy to redeem. I'd give anything to have what you got. Brown skin, no morals, a wicked persuasive Indian accent. So would any of these guys. It'd be a fucking insult if you were still here in 10 years.
You don't know that.
Let me tell you what I do know. You know what the best part of my day is? The 10 seconds before I pick up a call from an unknown number. Because I let myself think it's going to be you on the other line, asking me for my mother's maiden name, what the color of my first car was. Now, I don't know much, but I do know that.
Brother, you don't know shit.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting, but Indian. And that'll be all movies soon because everyone's going to become Indian.
Okay.
You know?
That's an interesting, fresh take.
All right, next we have some urban street justice. This guy was abusing the cameraman's mother, and he gets knocked out for it.
See this bitch ass nigga on the 7. If y'all see this nigga on the 8, I'm telling you, beat the fuck out that nigga. Beat the fuck out this nigga. Boy, if you put your fucking hands on my mama again, I'm telling you, nigga, you gonna fucking die. You gonna die. I'm not playing with you, bitch. Sleep, nigga. Go to bed. What the fuck are you talking about?
And the reason I put this in is he gets knocked out and he's an abuser, so that's good. But look at the ground when he falls.
He falls on the cheap empty soda bottles.
There's 3 empty 2-liter bottles
of Tego.
So it's not like you had a personal soda and you threw it on the ground. It's like you had a 2-liter of soda, you drank it all, you threw it on the ground. Then you replaced it, drank it all, threw it on the ground. Then you replaced it, drank it all, and threw it on the ground. And now you're like 3 2-liter bottles deep of trash on the ground.
I wonder what you're going to do with the 4th one.
That's weeks of soda drinking, right?
I don't know. I bet you a guy like this does a 2-liter in a day.
So that's days of soda drinking. Yeah. All right, next, this is cool. This guy's a pilot, and he does the pilot stuff where you carry the banner, and this is how he scoops it up. So he comes down, he throws the hook, he gets low to the ground. The hook grabs it. And then when he goes up, he's got the banner.
That seems like it could snag on something. Like imagine you hit the wrong rock or something and it rips your fuselage in half.
Yeah, that doesn't, it's not even that hard.
Well, I know. Flying those small planes, they're very maneuverable.
And you just throw it down and you drive through the area that you get hooked through. It's not even hard to do that.
Okay. That's your take.
That's my take. All right, next. You ever get so mad you want to just jump out the window?
Yeah, all the time. Every day.
Well,
during the final page of Housekeeping.
We have
almost brick walled through there today.
We have a video of what that would look like. So this Chinese couple's in an argument. He kind of gives it a trial run. She's saying, "No, don't do it."
They must be. Oh man, he's dead. They must be on the fucking 20th floor or something.
Oh. And he just left. And there's a door right there. So he just left that way. But you know, you ever wonder?
He got his dramatic effect, you know?
And
he sent a message.
And you ever wonder what it's like to jump out the window? It's that.
Yeah.
All right, next we have moths that are disguised perfectly as pieces of sticks. This is cool.
Wonderful, wonderful. Look at that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. If I saw a bug like that, I'd be inspired to set a booby trap against a French merchant marine vessel in, the 1800s, like Russell Crowe.
That's what
Master
he did?
and Commander.
He used bugs like that?
Yeah, he was inspired by stick bugs. And then he set a trap on a cocky French boat. You ever see that movie? Master and Commander?
No. Good reference, though. Good reference. I'm sure all you guys...
I can do whatever I want in the last page of Uplifting Gold. You're doing whatever you want. I can do whatever I want.
All right, our last clip for the whole show is Trump watching his grandson play piano on a really nice grand piano. Nice, and the kid made that composition. He made that's his original music.
That's one of Ivanka's kids.
Yep, Theo.
And Trump, he stands at attention. He likes it. He likes his.
He doesn't just go, "Okay, I get it, great." He listens to the whole thing. It's worth his time.
It's probably $1 million piano that's been in the White House since 1800.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson's piano. All right.
Must be nice.
That's the end of Uplifting Gold. We do have some nice shout outs for everybody. Happy birthday to Bonnie's husband, Morgan, from Texas. You guys are great. Happy birthday, Morgan. Happy birthday to Michael Steinkogler. He hasn't missed an episode. It's his birthday on May 5th. So happy birthday. May the 5th be with you.
Interesting last name. Happy birthday.
Steinkogler.
I have never heard that.
Happy birthday to Pam. On May 3rd was Pam's birthday. Her and David, her husband, have Fleckis date nights.
Oh, wow.
Where they watch the show. Couples who watch together stay together. Everyone knows that. Happy birthday to Adam on April 30th from Cassie. Also, happy 22nd wedding anniversary as well on April 16th. So double shout out for you. Very nice. Yeah. And then happy birthday to Keenan Keller, who turned 11 on April 30th. Happy birthday, Keenan. Very cool.
Happy birthday, Keenan. 11.
And then happy anniversary.
You're skipping certain parts of the podcast, right? Your mom's keeping track and skipping.
Sorry for the curse words, Keenan.
Yep.
And
That's life in the big city.
Yeah, and if you watch Netflix, I'm sure you see some gross stuff anyway.
Just don't say it to your teacher.
Yeah, and we make fun of the bad stuff, so we're not getting you in trouble. And happy anniversary to Rachel and Shane on May 3rd. Very nice. Happy anniversary, guys. All right. Another Fleckis Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. If you want 30 extra minutes, if this wasn't enough for you and you want even more, 30 extra minutes of Bonus Land dropping right now on FleckisTalks.com. Go sign up and join the Bonus Land community. It's great people, it's great times, and it's great content. And you can watch 4 shows a week if you schedule it right. Thank you for watching. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a nice weekend.
When you get what you want, but not what you need.